welcome or welcome back to 4F Beauty. When will I be YouTube famous? I don't know. I really don't know. In fact, the last video I uploaded lost me a subscriber, so apparently they didn't appreciate the Avon mystery box very much. Who knew? If you do like me or like my videos, do please interact with me. You know, a like, a share, a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're subscribed, make sure you've hit that bell so you get notified. Because at the moment it's so difficult, even the bigger creators are finding their videos are not turning up in search lists, so little old me doesn't have a Scooby's chance unless you all help out. So, enough self-promo for one day. There's many things on my face, but the items we are discussing today is the Revolution Pro Regeneration Trends Mischief Mattes, that's a lot of words, palette. If I can get it so you can see the colours without being... There we go. And the Luminous Lightening, and trying to get this so you can see it without dazzling you. Yeah, thanks for the reflective packaging there, Adam, that's really helping. There we go. Is one of their new highlights, which I think we can agree is pretty blinding. But if you want to see how I created this look with this palette and this highlighter, then you're in exactly the right place. Here it comes. Hey, welcome back from the intro. As you can see, I've got all my base done. Cake Mix foundation, this really has turned into my I'm wearing it every day foundation. Now I've finally cracked how to get it onto my skin, and I have found the best way for me is one of these small toothbrush artiste style brushes, not the full sized one that you would normally use for your face, but the mini one that you would normally use for, I don't know, contour, blush, maybe. Bigger than the concealer one, but smaller than the face one. Does that help? Kind of almost nose length, maybe. Anyway, I found that's the best way to get the foundation onto my skin. Other base products I've got on, I actually contoured a little bit today because I was feeling a bit. So I used the Makeup Obsession Contour in 102 Light, my Winky Lux coffee smelling bronzer because I figure, you know, might help wake me up a little bit. L'Oreal Life's a Peach Blush. Once again on the brows, I used the little mini goof proof sample that I got from Benefit. Right, now the palette that I'm doing today is a Revolution Pro, and it's the Regeneration range, and this is the Trends Mischief Mattes, which, as you, okay, there's no mirror, but as you can see, there's a really nice range of colours there. This corner here reminds me very much of Jeffree Star's Blood Sugar, and some of that top row reminds me of the Calmie palette, but there are still colours in here which are in neither of those two palettes, and I wanted to give it a go. So I've already done the swatches for you, and I'm going to put that on screen now. The top row, going from left to right, is Saint, which is the pure white. I don't know how well that's going to come up on your screen. Attached, New Day, Daydream, Halftime, Believer, Ringleader, Fearlish and Shrine. And then the bottom row is Indication, Crusade, Potion, Upper Hand, Underdog, Ricochet, Exclusive, Haunted and Cursed. Hello again, hi. I'm just going to put a picture here of an eye look that I did yesterday with this palette, because initially when you look at it you think, oh, it's going to be really bright, it's going to be really unwearable, if you're not the sort of person like me who regularly goes out of the house wearing ridiculously bright eyeshadow. that's a look that I did yesterday, slightly more muted, using Poison, Upper Hand, Cursed and Believer. And you can see that's a really soft, muted, kind of sexy, greeny, plummy kind of look. So you can get deeper looks out of it. But having done a deeper look yesterday, I want to do a bright one today. I have got my colour switch for changing colours. I will zoom you in. Yep. Oh, hang on, that's my phone. Sorry about that. Hubby was ringing. Right, okay. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, when I look straight ahead, you can see all of my mobile lid. By that, I mean the bit of the eye that moves when you open and close your eye, okay? So I don't have a hooded lid. So when I'm putting my makeup on and I'm putting my crease colour down, I'm literally going to follow the shape of my physical eyeball. Now, if when you look straight ahead, you don't see all of your mobile lid, you've either got a half or a full hooded lid. It doesn't mean you can't follow my tutorial, doesn't mean you can't follow any tutorial. All you need to do is get a pencil brush or a thinner brush, picking up the first crease colour. When we get to the point that we're doing the crease, looking straight ahead with your eye open, you just sketch where you will need your crease to start. It'll literally just be a case of moving your crease up. Alright, now I'm starting off with quite a wide fluffy brush. If you are having to move your crease up, because I've got quite deep set eyes, I've got a lot of area to play with here between my crease and my brow. If you don't have that much space, or if you're having to move your crease up, you might want to start with a slightly smaller brush, but you still want quite a loose brush. You don't want anything that's packed too tightly initially for putting down the first few colours. Okay? I'm sorry for those of you who are my regular viewers, because you will have heard me say that on most of my tutorials, but for those that are new here, and I have to hope I'm getting new viewers each time, it's important for you to know how you can follow my tutorial. As you can see, it's actually really hot in my kitchen at the moment, so I apologise if I'm glistening even without highlighter. You may occasionally hear, which is me doing a Peter Moll with a fan to try and cool myself down, because if I put the static fan on, you're not going to hear me, because I don't have a separate microphone. I'm relying on the microphone on the camera itself. Right, enough blethering, let's get on with the tutorial. I'm going to start off by going into Saint, which is the bright white. Now, I'm using this. Yes, thank you, camera, please retain your focus. I'm going to use this all over the lid because I don't use a separate eyelid primer. I carry my foundation across my lid and then my concealer, and I set it with translucent powder. But what I find that's fine. I've got oily combo skin, and that stops my eyeshadow from creasing during the day. If I don't set it and go straight in with the powder, I do find I have issues. Yes, it increases the oomph of the colour that I'm putting down, but it also tends to crease before the end of the day when the oils come through my lids. And I mean, you can just set it with your translucent powder and then go straight into the tutorial, but I find that powders from the same palette blend better on themselves. So if there is a colour in the palette that's close to your skin tone, then just whack it all over the lid from lashes to brow, just to ease it through for the rest of it. Okay. Oh, there's so much choice. I love this palette. I think I'm going to go into New Day, which is a beautiful yellow. I'm really into my yellows at the moment. And we're going to start off with just doing windscreen wiper movements along the crease. Okay. Now this does kick up a fair bit in the pan, as you can see, but so long as you tap off, there's not a huge amount of fallout. And I don't mind kick up in the pan, because when you go back in now to put a bit more colour on, you just pick up the excess that's sitting on the top of the pan so you don't waste it. And now I'm going to do little circular movements like this, and then moving the brush up slightly and reversing the direction, so spinning the brush the other way, and then again. And I do this to blend the colour up, because where I'm not a 20-year-old anymore and where I've lost significant amount of weight over the years, I have eyelids that move, and if I don't do twirly whirlies backwards and forwards and then finishing off with little short windscreen wipers, sorry, hay fever, I can end up with areas of eyelid where the skin's folded over and I've got no colour on it, and that's a dead giveaway of your age, ladies and gents. Because I do have some gents that follow me, which is fab. I love having a mixed audience. And you can see that yellow's beautiful. I normally take it up to within about 5 or 6 mils of the brow, or about an eyeshadow brush's width from the fullest part of the brow, because then that leaves us a nice amount of space to pop our brow highlight on, which just gives the indication of a lifted brow, which again gives it an illusion of youth. And let's face it, we can all do with that, eh? Now, I don't speed my tutorials up. Let's go into the other eye and repeat what we've just done. Because one of the things that used to annoy me when I was following tutorials is that they'd do something and go, right, I'm going to go off camera and do the other eye. Or they'd speed the blending up. So you'd have to keep pausing it, otherwise they'd be jumping ahead of you. And then, if they say, oh, I'm going to go off camera and do the other eye, you think, oh yeah, cheers for that. I've now got to rewind this, go back to the beginning, and try and do everything you're doing, but mirror image it for the other eye. And I found that very frustrating, particularly when I was just starting to get into wearing makeup. It's only really been a passion for me for about the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Prior to that, I was concealer, powder, clear mascara, bit of lip gloss, out the door, or if it was a night out, brown or grey eyeshadow, red lipstick, and that was pretty much it. But my love for makeup has increased over the last few years. But it used to annoy me when I'd be following a tutorial, because I'd have to keep pausing, my screen lock would come on, then I'd have to stop what I was doing, put my thing back in, get the screen. Used to annoy the heck out of me. Right, I'm going to go into Daydream, which is the orange right next to it. And I'm going to repeat the process, but I'm not going to take it as high up the eye this time. And at this point, I'm not going to actually add any more colour either. I'm just going to use the colour that's on the brush. Because I'm probably not going to do a cut crease today. I tend to save those for when I'm going out of an evening, to be honest. Because they do take a little bit of work. So what we're looking for here is when one colour stops and the next colour starts, we're looking for a soft blend between the two. I'm going to clear any excess off of my brush with my colour switch. They're such good pigments, they do actually stain the brush a little bit, which is great. And I'm just going to gently buff where the two colours meet, just to give a nice seamless blend without adding any extra colour. And then come back down and gently buff over that orange that we've put down, just to make sure it's as seamless as possible. Okay, and you can see the difference between the two eyes there. So now I'm going to pick up the excess powder from the top of the pan from last time, so we don't end up wasting powder on this station. Looks like it's about to rain. I apologise if my white balance goes up and down. I have got an LED light on just behind the camera, so I'm hoping that that's going to be enough that you're still going to be able to follow the tutorial okay, but it's kind of very dark outside, and I normally rely on a mixture of natural daylight and an LED because I don't have a ring light, I've got a strip LED light. So, okay, because obviously I've only been doing this for a few months and I'm certainly not monetised yet, and certainly not making, even if I was monetised, I certainly wouldn't be making enough to start investing in expensive equipment. You know, I forked out on my catalogue to get my camera. And I bought my ring light off, I bought my LED light off from my mate when she upgraded to soft boxes for doing nails. I just realised this actually matches my nails quite well at the moment. Okay. I'm liking this a lot. Right, I'm going to go down to a slightly smaller brush now. Let me just turn my volume off on that because it appears that I'm getting quite a few messages coming in at the moment. Right, so going in with a slightly smaller fluffy brush, slightly more tapered. Which route do I want to take this look today? Shall I go pinks or shall I go reds and purples? Decisions. I think I'm going to go into Ringleader on the second row. I'm just going to stamp a little bit of colour on that corner there. Now, because my lashes really curl up here, in order for me sometimes to get the pigment down to the lashes, I have to use a pencil brush. Otherwise, I end up poking myself in the eye, and my eyes are watering enough with the hay fever without me adding any more pressure to it. So if you have a similar problem, then you know, use a pencil brush or a finer brush to get the pigment down to your lashes. And then we're going to give it a waggle through the crease. And again, give it a twirl, but take it up even less than we did the orange. Getting a really lovely, warm, sort of tutti frutti, you know, Caribbean sunrise or sunset look going on here at the moment. You'll find this when you watch my tutorials, unless I've had a specific request from someone. For example, I had a request for a blue tutorial, and I had a request for a smoky tutorial with a purple lip. So unless I've got a specific request that I'm following, I just tend to make it up as I go along. If I get a little bit of fallout, dust it away with a big fluffy brush. It's really important, particularly if you get reds or pinks, because they do tend to stain more than the other colours do. So let's take this pink, give it a waggle through the crease again, like we did on the other eye. Yeah, unless I've got a specific colour scheme that I'm following because of a request, or if I'm copying, you know, being inspired by somebody else's look and doing my version of it, then I pretty much make it up as I go along. I just go into whichever colour appeals to me on the day. But as the sample one that I showed you from yesterday's look was such a muted look, I'm really going bright today just to show you the extremes you can get with this palette. So far I'm really liking this. Everything's blending very nicely together. There's not a huge amount of fallout. Liking this a lot. Now, purples and blues are the most difficult colours to formulate in an eyeshadow palette. So I do normally end up using those either in a tutorial, or I'll do another, if I'm doing like a foundation review for example, I'll stick purple on just because I want to see how well these are formulated. And there is a very beautiful purple in here called Shrine, which actually is a very similar colour to my wedding dress. So I'm going to pick up some of that and pop that on the outside corner just to deepen that pink up a little bit. Again, I'm going in with the pencil brush just to make sure I can get right down to the lashes. And then going in with my fluffy brush. I'm going to give this a waggle, but I'm only going to go halfway along my lid this time. I'm not going to take this darker purple any further than that, because I want the pink to have its moment. And I'm tilting my head back so that I can blend it literally just in the crease and not taking it up the eye at all. And I find by tilting your head back, that's the easiest way to get to it and keep it contained. Yeah, I like that. It was needing a bit of depth, as you can tell if you look. I mean, it has made a difference to the eye look, as I hope you can see. I can certainly see it in my mirror, and as I've got an HD camera, it should be picking it up. It just doesn't always show it up for me in the viewfinder. So, you know, I'll be saying things like, oh, I hope you can see this alright, and then when I do the editing back, I'm like, well, yep, it's actually clearer on the camera than it was to me. So, I'm really hoping that's going to be the case this time again. So, again, we're going to just take this halfway along, give it a bit of a waggle off the corner, pick up the last of the excess powder, and we'll buff. If you're wondering why I shut this eye and not the other one, it's because I'm blind in this eye. So if I shut this eye, there's not going to be a great deal of makeup happening at all. But it does show you the two different techniques as well, so if you have a similar situation, you'll be able to see how I deal with it. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, now I'm going to get a flat brush like this, and I'm going to pick up the purple we've just used, and I'm going to wiggle it right up underneath the bottom lashes here. Because my eyes run, I don't tend to use very much liner on my actual waterline, because I do struggle with it coming off really quite quickly, which is not the product's fault, it's just that my eyes are so watery. I have managed to keep it on if I use liquid lipstick, but not all lipsticks are eye safe, so oh, excuse me for my hiccuping. That was coffee, I tasted it. So run that purple along those bottom lashes, and then and I'm back. Right, getting a flatter packer brush like this, I'm going to pick up Ringleader, which is the pink that we used on our top lid. Tap off. I'm literally only going to put it on the very tips of the bristles there, and I'm going to gently smudge that along the bottom lash line just to soften the purple we put down. If you have under eye wrinkles, this can help disguise some of them. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You know, if you prefer to line your waterline instead, then you know, you do you. But I actually find that For me, I find this finishes my eye look off really nicely. I always flinch with this eye in case I poke myself in the eye, because obviously I can't see how close the brush is getting. Okay, I'm now going to go into Crusade, which is a beautiful bright blue. And I'm going to go in initially with a dry brush and just lay this pigment down. As I said, we're not doing a cut crease. We're just filling the 2/3 of the eyelid that didn't have any colour on it yet. And then repeating that on this side. So much easier for me to do this lid than it is the other one, because I can actually close the eye. Amazing what a difference it makes. Let's just get rid of that fallout there. I mean, you can see the fallout that, you know, what that there is. What that there is. Oh, my English is getting so bad. Dusts away quite easily. Right, I'm now going to load the brush up with that same blue. And I'm just going to give it a spritz with, this is actually the Makeup Obsession Pigment Boost Fix. It is a fixing spray, but it also says that it's been designed to intensify the pigment. Now, any setting spray will intensify the pigment. Water will intensify the pigment. But obviously, if you use a setting spray, it will help hold it onto your eye better as well. So let's see if that gives us a bit more. Yeah, you can see the difference there, look, instantly with the amount of colour payoff we're getting. Can't see a thing right now. Going on muscle memory. You can see the difference there between the two. Right, now what I do, because I don't like going back into the palette with a wet brush, I completely take all the colour off on the colour switch and then rub it against my hand to make sure it's absolutely dry before I go back in. Some people wet the brush and go into the palette. I don't like doing that because you can get hard pan where the colour almost seals over and gets shiny on the top, which then makes it quite difficult to pick up pigment next time you use it, especially if you want to use it dry. Because obviously you wouldn't necessarily wet it if you're going to use this as a crease colour, for example. You can see what I mean about the extent of movement of my eyelid skin now when I do that. Shouldn't really do that, but that eye got pulled around a lot when I was a kid with the doctors trying to work out why I couldn't see out of it. Right, I really like this eye look a lot. I'm just going to get this fluffy brush without any pigment on it and just gently buff over where the blue meets the purple. And now I'm going to go off camera and put some liner on and some mascara, and I will be straight back. If you need to know how to put liner on, I have got a mini tutorial just covering putting on liquid liner. Alright, I'll be straight back. And I'm back. The gel liner that I've used is actually a purple one from Oh My Glitter. I applied it in exactly the same way that I would do any other eyeliner, but instead of it having its own applicator, I just used an angled liner brush, which, you know, if anything, this is easier to use than an applicator in one of these. So, there we go. I thought a nice purple wing would be appropriate. And I use Tarte's Waterproof Lights Camera Splashes mascara. Now, the highlight that I'm using today is one of the new ones from I Heart Revolution. I'm going to try not to blind you with this packaging if I can, but it is very reflective. And it's the Lightening Triple Baked Highlighter. I don't know if you can see that okay. And it's Glow Hearts Lightning. Now, when this was, the promo pics for that online show it as having a very deep bronze colour, which confused me. So I messaged Adam Minto, the guy that owns Revolution, and he said, yep, the promo pictures have been mixed up. This is the packaging. Again, I'm trying not to dazzle you with it. And you can see when you open it up, it is a champagne gold. So, let's go with our little mini brush. If you can look, it's a baked highlighter, so it does have kickback on it. I'm just going to pop a little bit. Whoa, look at that in the inner corner. That makes me look like I've had 16 coffees this morning. But regular viewers will know I like my highlighters to have some oomph. And then we're going to just pop a little bit just under the tail of the brow, just to give the illusion of it being higher, and that gives us a more youthful countenance apparently. I don't understand the science of it, I just know it works. Right, now I'm going to zoom you out to do the rest of my face. Hi! And I'm going to use quite a thick brush. This is the brush that I use with my Jeffree Stars, because if you use a finer brush, like a fan brush, the Jeffree Star ones tend to get hard pan on them. But with a slightly firmer brush like this, they do still sometimes get hard pan, but you can still get colour off of them when they do, so I either use this one or I use, if I'm going for a more subtle, if I want a subtler highlight, I'll use this one. But today I feel like glowing because the eyes are bright, so, you know, the rest of me needs to be as well. Ooh. Oh yes. Yep, well done, Rev. Well, I Heart Revolution, but it's still part of the Revolution brand. This is a beautiful, I mean, if you don't like glittery style bright highlights, this is not, you're not going to want this. But for people like me who don't just glow to the gods, we glow enough to blind them so they can't see what we're up to, this is a nice bit of kit. Ooh. This is definitely going into my I'm going to use this a lot highlighter pile. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say this. I mean, I thought that the Revolution Ingot highlighter in Platinum was almost a dupe for Jeffree Star's Ice Cold. I would say that this one is a bang on dupe for Jeffree Star's Ice Cold. So, if you can't get hold of Jeffree's highlighters, or you're not a fan of his and don't want to buy his highlighters, then it's going to be the way to go for you. Now, Lipstick wise, I'm actually going to put a Jeffree Star on because I'm going to go quite subtle on the lips today because the eyes are doing all of the work for me. I'm going to go in with one of the ones from his Christmas collection last year. And it's Christmas Cookie, but he has now made this a permanent part of his line, which is awesome. It won't be in this beautiful packaging, it'll be in the normal hot pink lid packaging without all the glitter once it's part of its regular line. So let's zoom you in a minute. Now there's a really easy way to put liquid lipsticks on by using the shape of the applicator itself. Okay, so we're going to start off with the inside of the bottom lip. And then we turn the applicator on its side to line the bottom lip. Okay, and then for the top lip, we're again using the shape of the applicator. So we start off with it bolt upright and we put it to a 45-degree angle and do a short stroke on our cupid's bow and the outside of our lip. Both exactly the same angle. Then we return it to centre, 45 degrees the other way, and repeat. This gives us a nice little M. We then turn the brush upside down. And go from the corner to the line we've made. And then fill in. And that's a great way to emphasise the cupid's bow or create one if you don't have one. Right, let's zoom you back out again for the final step, which regular viewers will know is setting spray time. Today I'm using the Rimmel Insta Fix and Go. This is one of my favourite setting sprays, I have to say. So now let's liberally douse our face with setting spray. Most people would stop here. I'm stopping to tell you this smells like melons or fresh cucumber and reminds me very much of the hair products or the scent of the hair products from Paul Mitchell in the very early 90s. However, I'm a little bit extra, so I use a little bit extra. Because, and long-term viewers can say this with me, if I've spent time getting my face looking like this, I want it to stay put. Now this is partly drying my setting spray, partly taking my breath away, but mainly it's cooling me down because it's very hot in my kitchen. Right. I'm going to pause you, do something with this mop of hair, and I will be straight back. And I'm back. This is the, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll have seen I've been wearing this flower headband, which is one of the ones from the Oh My Glitter April mystery box. This is the other one, and I just thought it went so perfectly with the eye look today, it had to be worn. So, what do I think of these two products? I absolutely love them. Do I suggest that you buy them? Yeah. I mean, you've seen the payoff today. You've also seen at the beginning of the, and I'll put it up here again now, the greeny, sort of plummy kind of look that I did yesterday. So you can see that you can go as bright or as muted as you want with this palette. And this highlighter, whew, can we just appreciate the glow right now. You could stand me on a cliff somewhere with a torch if the lighthouse broke. Anyway, that's quite enough for me for one day. It is ridiculously hot. I am going to bid you a very fond farewell. I hope the rest of your day is fabulous. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, comment, share. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's still free. Come and join my family. If you are subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell so that you get a notification every time I upload a video, because YouTube they're not helpful right now. Even big creators are finding that their films are not turning up in people's recommended watch list. So, what hope has poor little me got of ever appearing on somebody's watch list if they don't see it because you've shared it, or you've liked it, or you've commented? So, it really, really helped me greatly if you could do one of those things or all of those things. But in the meantime, stay fabulous. Bye for now.